Hello and welcome to our podcast series, Presence and Power, the stories, spirit, and strength of Methodist hymns. This podcast explores the rich history, deep theology, and enduring beauty of the hymns that have shaped Methodist worship for generations. Each episode will uncover the stories behind these sacred songs and the new songs we feel the Lord has given us to steward. Join us as we journey through the heart of the Methodist song, where presence meets power in every note. On today's episode, I had the privilege of sitting down with our friend, David Funk. Dave produced our collection of hymns called Presence and Power and became a dear friend throughout the excavation of these songs. Dave, we're so incredibly grateful for the role you played in this work, but even more thankful for the way that you love Jesus. We hope you enjoy this conversation. Let's giggle. Okay, Dave.
Yep.
Dave Funk.
Brenna Bullock.
David Lauren Funk.
Wow, yes.
I saw it on your passport photo.
Oh, the one I told you not to look at.
Yeah.
Because I look so bad.
I wondered if you could tell us, like, when we first met over Zoom or FaceTime, I don't remember.
Yep.
And you had heard probably a little bit about what we were hoping to do from Luke or Christian or whoever. What were you expecting? What were you thinking? Just like, do you remember what that was like?
I do. I remember that I was in Georgia in my parents' house.
Great.
And like, I was like, hey, I need to take a work call today at this time or whatever. Because like, I think it was summer. So I think I was probably just visiting them with my family for like vacation. I remember like, I'm going to take this work Zoom.
Yeah.
You know, boring. Like, it'll be over soon. I'm sure it's nothing.
Let's kick this pig.
But I don't know. Just thinking back to Luke reaching out to me, like I have some friends that I want you to produce their album, you know. And to be honest, like Luke and Christian are great. Like if they think something is good or cool, it's like there's a good chance that it is.
Right.
So it definitely carried a different weight than if Joe Schmo off the street was like, hey, can you produce my album? And so I came with more of less of like we'll see, and more of like, oh, I want to know what this is. Like, I think, you know, they did a project with you guys, whatever. I hadn't, though, listened to any of Altars.
Yeah.
And on the call, in the background of the call, I was on Spotify looking up Altars.
Of course
you know.
were. Yeah.
And like, because I was like, I should probably at least like be able to name a track or something, just like in case.
So good, so studious.
So like, what's your favorite track off Altars? And I'm like scrolling. I'm like, that one looks good. I'm like, Altars? Is that
that one
song? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that is a great song, Brenna.
Thanks.
By the way, yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly, all I remember of that Zoom was you were on like the dash of Christian's truck, and it was Christian in the front seat, and I think you in the front seat, and then Mark and Swayze. For all you listeners that aren't watching, forgive me, but Mark and Swayze were just like leaning in,
creeping in,
you know. And I was
we were all
like,
trying to get in the
who's back there, you know?
What y'all doing back there?
Yeah. And then even coming here, I didn't realize that Swayze was one of the people in the truck, just because that was just all blurring together. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but there's a Methodist church out there, and they're in Nashville with a Christian right now, and whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember let's pause. I can find my notes just because it'll spark thoughts.
Get the notes.
I have 2 pages of notes. Bristol House Connect, in brackets, Christian Ostrom. So that way, if it's bad, I can blame him. On June 26th, so the day before my birthday, actually.
I'm going to cry.
And yeah, I have a sticky note that says, talk to Lily, trip to the Woodlands.
Very important.
Very, like, must come to Woodlands.
Yeah, of course.
So I was, wow, this is funny. So I wrote down all of your names.
Good.
Mark. And then I started misspelling his name, and I scratched it out. And then I wrote Swayze. Kelly, definitely misspelled his name. Wow, both. Brenna Bullock. And it was Woodlands, Texas, --Methodist, !
And that's my life.
Yeah, and that's my life. And then the only bullet point under that section is a lot of liturgy. But I was writing that down as a good thing. I was like, oh, that checks a box for me.
A lot of liturgy.
And I think you said this, but I wrote this down. How do we influence our denomination?
Yeah, I think we had officially joined.
Yep.
the GMC at that point.
Yep.
And we were like, what does this mean?
Yep.
And what are we going to
Yep.
take on or step into,
Yep.
you know, in our current role or
Yep.
whatever?
And so, yeah, I wrote down updated Wesleyan hymns. The lyric content is the focus, and making the theology and depth accessible musically, which is fun rereading these notes because I feel like we really, something that I loved about this process is we set pretty clear vision from the start, even before I had committed to do it.
I know.
I mean, I also remember in the Zoom call being like, yeah, 100%. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, just, I could feel the common, not just the common language, but just the common desire to write songs that lead people to God and that form them like beyond just, you know, an encounter on a Sunday. But like, I think the goal of any worship writer should be like writing the earworm songs that are just like the scripture, you know, like anytime I think of like, I had one in my, stuck in my head, the other, like, okay, Psalm 115. I don't even remember, the rest of this song, but the first verse is not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name. And there's a song that's like, not to us, but to your name.
Yes.
Don't remember the rest of the song, but it's like, boom, that's an earworm of scripture.
Right.
So I think any worship writer should be like a goal. And I feel like I heard you guys saying that and I was like, yes, this is awesome. Break the stewarding legacy, break the dichotomy that hymns are traditional and worship is modern.
Whoa.
That's good.
That was good.
Come on, Dave.
Good job.
We're not trying to repeat what they did, but to do what they did. Maybe you said that, or maybe I made that up, or maybe that was an amalgamation of the sentiment of everything. Like not recreate what they did, but what were they trying to do? Let's just do that. You know? And then I think another thing that stood out to me is just the ripeness of the harvest, if you will, of like you said, a lot of GMC churches have like 50 people, and even like the like putting myself in the shoes of like I was the choir director and now I'm leading, you know, I'm just on acoustic or something. I don't know, just like how do we write songs for those churches and stuff? I don't know, I'm kind of just
no, it's great, and it always. I mean, I feel like you've said this, others have said it. It's like it always just comes down to the song, and can the song by itself be enough?
Yep.
Be enough theologically.
Yep.
Be enough, you know, anchored in scripture. To your point, an earworm melodically.
Yep.
You know, palatable and memorable. And can it say something and mean something and like glorify the Lord?
Yeah.
You know, and I really feel like, I know you're not going to toot your own horn, but I will toot your horn because I feel like you were the perfect person to do this. And I had coffee with Luke a couple of months before that initial call, and we were sitting in Evergreen, and I was like telling him about kind of the vision, and he was like, I think you should ask David Funk. And that's who I wanted to ask. But I didn't want to be like presumptuous.
Yeah.
And be like, you know, your friend, Dave. Because we didn't know each other at that point. And then he was like, yeah, let me just like talk to him. And so, and his words were, I think what sets David apart outside of just your skill is that like you are a worship leader first. And that's what I felt like we needed to really like, we needed someone that's heart is that, you know, because we can make cool arrangements.
Yeah.
Like anybody.
Kind of anyone can do that.
Yeah, can do that. And
AI can do that.
Yeah, literally. Listen to our next episode where
all we talk about is AI.
Yeah. But I knew that I didn't just want to create something that was creative or like just cool for the cool sake, you know?
Yeah.
I wanted something that was beefier than that, like gross.
Yeah.
But, you know, I wanted something that had more substance to it. And I really feel like that's what you did for us in the making of this project. And I think to your point, to your notes, to your facts that you
These
brought.
are the facts of history.
To your evidence that was the vision.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've executed that through Presence and Power,
Yeah,
right?
I think so too. I mean, some of our, like, we even, maybe, I guess you came with these kind of categories, and we've talked about them a lot over the last 6 to 8 months of like kind of setting good rules for this album, where it's like there was a song, there were one song that wasn't going to be on the album that ended up on the album,
Right.
and one song that was going to be on the album that didn't.
Right.
And it's because eventually we had set kind of these boundaries to keep, in a good way, keep good songs, like even if they're good, keep them off the album if they don't follow these rules, you know? And so the rules were, we had 3 categories. And I think originally it was like the album could be any of these 3 things and we can choose one. And it was like, oh, why don't we just do all 3 kind of thing?
Yeah.
But 3 categories, it's either going to be a hymn, like basically revamp the music of a hymn, kind of word for word. The second category was like hymn verses, maybe with like a chorus and a bridge that's original.
Right.
And then 3 was original, but narrative in nature and theological in nature. And I feel like the way I kept saying it was like hymn-like in nature and structure.
Right.
Like the structure needed to be hymn-like, and the narrative and the theology of it needed to be hymn-like. And what's beautiful, I feel like, about this project is all of our rules, or all of our, maybe I shouldn't keep saying rules, but all of our kind of parameters, like everything, and this is like what just gets my creative juices flowing, everything was kind of meta in a way.
Yeah.
Like I even wrote down, of those 3 categories, we're combining like kind of the tension of the generations, you know, where it's like and I mean this in a purely like good intention way, but it's like we're tricking the old people with hymns that they've already heard and know, and then that have something else, you know, and then we're tricking the young people with cool music, but freaking, you know, beefy, to use your word,
Very
like
beefy.
Theology and, you know, structure or whatever.
Yeah.
Tricking obviously is not the best word. That's not what I should have said, but
no,
yeah.
Bringing everybody into that, right? Because that's, you said it earlier, that we weren't trying to do something new.
Yep.
We really are trying to do which this is going to sound audacious and maybe a little even, I don't know, presumptuous to say, but our goal as Bristol House is to do what John and Charles did, both in how they lived, which is bold, in Lives of Holiness, but also how they shared songs that carried theology and really led people to Jesus. I mean, that was the goal. And so I wonder if you can speak a little bit to knowing that those were kind of the categories we had set up. I think we were hoping that I knew that something of that nature would kind of fall into place. So we kind of had these 3 category of songs that ended up becoming 3 visual pieces that then also became 3 like sonic categories as well. And so from a production side, were you thinking a lot about that, or was that really like a work of the Lord through this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think we said this earlier off mic.
ABR.
This is not the first time we've met. We said this earlier of like, we kind of came with these ideas, and I feel like almost like a childlike way where it's like inspiration was just kind of sparking, and we're like, wow, how cool would it be if we had kind of these 3 categories of songs? Who knows if we can even do that?
Right.
You know, how cool would it be if, you know, there were 3 kind of different musical expressions, and maybe these didn't all happen on the same Zoom call, but it's like, and maybe we recorded them in 3 different places, and, you know, they, whatever. It's like, but I think in the back of my mind, I was like, I need to make sure my expectations don't get too high. Because it's like all of that sounds so amazing and awesome and would tell such a beautiful story. But it's like, can we even do that? Can we even write the songs to do that?
Right.
Do we have the intellectual, logistical capacity to pull that off? Because it was, now in hindsight, that we actually, surprised we did that. Like, it was obviously a big commitment. And it took a lot of buy-in from people. And you, to be fair, had to do a lot of the convincing to your church and, you know, to the people that we needed something from them. Like your amazing production department had to set up all these spaces and like staff a lot of things and whatever. And we're like, trust us, it's going to be cool.
we promise. I want you to go back to something you said about kind of the reverence. I think that was the language you used, that you felt. I felt the same. I could attribute it to a lot of things. Obviously, the work in and of itself, like the mantle, is we're saying a big thing to say we want to carry this. We want to steward, you know, something that's been hundreds of years old.
Not just throwing around John and Charles's name for fun.
You know, John and Chuck. But I wonder. I just wonder if we can say a little bit more about that, because I know that I felt completely unqualified to do something like this. And I think for anyone hearing this, obviously it's a journey. It's a, you know, you're in step with the Lord, hopefully. But I don't really believe he calls you into things that you're like 100% prepared for.
Yeah.
Because then where do you need him?
Yep.
Right. So I was walking into this with full, like, dependence on him. And I think a lot of just naivete, like, towards the whole process. Yeah. And so that definitely could have attributed to, like we were joking earlier, like I never have notes.
Yeah.
And genuinely though, like I don't have notes because I trust you. And I also just loved every single thing that I heard. So it felt like this was the right thing. And so I wonder for people that are setting out to make something or are hoping to create something or working in their church to do that, you know, could you speak a little bit more to what that thing is in you? Like the ability to give it back to the Lord in the sense. I think it's that open-handedness, right? Which is formed in trust, in history with him. And yet, if you're in like, you know, we were working a professional relationship where I was asking for you to make something that we were paying for. I mean, there was transaction in that sense. But there was this partnership where we just invited the Lord to kind of like take, lead us in it. And I knew you were going to do that. And so I was also going to do that. And I knew Luke was going to do that. And so then we were all kind of moving in the same direction. Kind of arms linked as opposed to like pulling. You know what I mean? I'm throwing a lot.
No, that's great.
And using a lot of weird terms.
No, I love it. I mean, one thought that came to mind when you were talking about like entering something that you feel like you don't have the ability to do. I feel like I wasn't sure I could do this.
Right.
Honestly, I think, I mean, this album was a big deal for me, even just personally, and like on a like professional level, you know, because it was the first full length album I'd ever produced by myself. That wasn't for Gable Price and Friends, and I didn't produce that stuff by myself, but it was the first full length thing that I'd ever done outside of them, and it was the first full length thing I'd ever done by myself, and so I was like, "There's no one to run it by." Oh God, like what if it just sucks, you know? Or like, what if I don't have enough ideas? I think that's the like. And it's like, oh God, it's gonna be 10 songs or 12 songs. Like, do I have 12 songs worth of ideas? You know? But then I think what's so unique. So the process we did. I came here in August. We wrote some stuff. We did some demos. We kind of collected the songs. We kind of like
walked away
with like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Like we have the songs. We know what what category they're all living in. You know, November we recorded, and then I think February I turned like the last like song in to mix or whatever. So you know, it was so fast, but also it was so long. You know, it's like it was months. So from that end of the spectrum, like I spent 6 to 8 months or whatever
Yeah.
on this, I was talking to you just now about, I just produced a song for this guy, and it took me, I spent maybe 2 or 3 weeks on it because it was just one song. It was studio.
Right.
It wasn't like, whatever. So, but both of those things, even though they're a separate amount of times, I started them being like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, why did I say yes to this? And then in the middle, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm doing it. And then at the end, I was like, I would have changed a couple of things, I think that's the interesting progression where it's like, I noticed that I take projects that I don't know if I can do, but I'm just going for it. And then I hit a point in the middle where I'm like, I grow into the project and I reach the level of like, okay, I can do this.
Right.
And then at the end of the project, it's like I've already kind of grown beyond it enough to look back and be like, I maybe would have done that a little bit differently or whatever.
Sure.
And so, I mean, I've never thought about that until just now when you bring that up. But it's like looking at a big project like this, a 12-song album,
right?
Even to that single I just did, it's like they both had kind of those 3 elements of like, which in the middle one is maybe less conscious because you're just in it. I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm doing it now and I'm perfect. I'm perfect for this now.
Right.
But I feel like in hindsight, I can look back and it's like, okay, I hit my stride. Like, and we hit a flow where all of a sudden, by our own growth, and then also going back to the point where it's like, we just came with inspiration. And I think, like we used this analogy this morning earlier, where it's like, we kind of had these buckets that we hoped that there would be songs enough to fill.
Totally.
And the Lord like just gave us the songs.
He filled it.
And he filled the buckets that we were hoping to fill.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's like, I can't attribute like everything to me or to us.
No,
it's this definitely, obviously, this beautiful combo of the Lord really was like so gracious to give us something that we were hoping for, and honestly give us something more than what we were hoping for. I feel like walking away from this project, I didn't know it could be this awesome,
Exactly. Which is like it's him. Like, I think we did the work that was in front of us, right? With diligence and faithfulness. I know you've worked so many hours, days, weeks, months on this, and that proof it's evident. And yet there was intentional time that we set in, at least like our first kind of gathering, where we asked the Lord like to come and show us like what to do.
Yep.
So I would say that too, if to anyone who is hoping to do something like this, like if you think you're going to be able to do it out of your own skill or even like ambition, I would encourage you to invite the Lord into the process, because I think we could have made like 12 bangers that were cool and like still fulfilled the mission, but I don't think they would have felt the way this album feels had it not been from how the Lord kind of rested on it. And
I agree.
it's so funny. It's so funny to hear you say that, because I remember I was on a walk when you sent me Great High Priest. And so we have a song on the record that Dave brought called Great High Priest. It's beautiful. You should sing it in your church.
I honestly need to,
No, not you, like to the listener.
Oh, to the listener. Well, me too. I will.
But I was like walking in my neighborhood and you sent it to me. And I remember hearing it and I was like, what am I doing? Like, nothing I've ever written in my life is like this.
True.
Like, no, I literally, and then I was like, I'll just text that like I'm on a run, so I don't have to like deal with this. I know, because I was like, I just felt like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Like I am, these britches are feeling too big. Like, I am not going to be able to do this. Like, why did I hire David Funk? I've lost my brain cells. And I was just like, it's okay. And I told the Lord, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't show him anything. There's nothing ever worth anything. This is garbage. And then we ended up working together. And I remember the day that I was going to show you Presence and Power. We didn't call it that at that point.
Yeah.
And like, I can barely clang it out on like the 3 chords. And I remember you were so kind. And I was just like, this is it. Like, this is all that I have. And you were like, great. Like, we can, like, this is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
let's keep going. And so I think it's just funny to hear even someone as accomplished and established as you to also say, I did feel like a bit overwhelmed taking this on.
Mm-hmm.
And even like, I don't know, even like meeting you and like having you come here, it's like we all are feeling our inner stuff
Yeah.
of like, oh, I don't want to like sit in a room and like,
Yeah.
I made Zaria come to everything because I was
Yeah.
like, at least if you're here, like she'll make
Which
a joke.
worked out in my favor
Yeah.
too, because it's like, okay, I know Zaria. Like,
There's like a
she's
bridge builder
there's
right here.
Which, I mean, in
Is
all
smart.
reality, I'm really so grateful that Zaria is a part of this and was a part of this. Like, we even kind of, didn't we like, we scheduled that little writing week around her a little bit because she was going to go. I think she had just come back from, that was the tracking. She had just come back from England or something or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, like separately to her, I was like, I think I need you to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I need to like, have that bridge and know that I have a friend that I can be like honest with 100%. And ask questions about, like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
This was my first time like really visiting even a Methodist church. I was like, you know, what if they tell me to like wear a suit? I don't know. I didn't bring any suits.
Can you imagine?
No, I knew you guys were going to do that.
Yeah. No, but we love you, Zaria. We love you so
much.
Love you,
Z. Miss you.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah.
But it was just,
No, I felt that too. I remember going back to the DoubleTree every night.
Not the DoubleTree.
I think it was a DoubleTree. I don't know what it was, or a Hilton or something. Going back every night and like, it's kind of a buzzword, but kind of feeling that like imposter syndrome of like, I think they think I'm way better at this than I am. I'm just like dinking away on my computer. Like,
no.
Oh man.
I just remember checking on you multiple times. Like, do you need time? Because you would be like, I think I need to walk. And I think you were like, now I know you. So I'm like, oh yeah, he's like processing whatever. But I would also just encourage people in any type of working relationship that's around art or creativity. There's just so much room to feel like you don't belong, or it's like just so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so the more you can do that, work with the Lord before you go into a space or in the space or in hindsight, whatever, will definitely will help you.
It's true. And I'll toot your horn in that way of like, I don't know. I can't like put my finger on like what made it so easy to like trust you and like connect in this process. But you just, it felt so safe from when the Monday or the Tuesday we started in this room, like with your team, to the end of that week being like, I think we like know what we're going to do and we have enough songs. Like, that's crazy.
I remember you writing them on the whiteboard and then they were just filled in by the end of the week.
Yep.
And like we were genuinely, it felt right.
Yep.
At every turn.
Yep.
I'm so grateful for you, David.
I'm so grateful for you. This is crazy.
I know. And now like that we are dreaming about what's next, which stay tuned. It feels like, oh, this is going to be such a gift. And like, there are things we want to maybe adjust moving forward.
Sure.
Because you and I are both probably always thinking of things we could do better. Yeah. But I'm just really grateful for your faithfulness to this project, your willingness. You're so fun. You're so silly.
You make me so silly in a great way.
Like, I mean, everything that we've heard and just the way you brought us along and you brought each one of our team members, like where they were into the process, and you honored our house so well. And it's like, I don't want anyone else to hire you because like I need you to keep making projects. But
you need me exclusively.
Yeah, exclusively on retainer. But it was just, it was a dream to work with you.
Same.
And I'm excited to see what's ahead. And is there anything about Presence and Power, anything else you want to say about the record specifically? Which I didn't prep you with this question, but just anything we want to tell people about it before we go.
I mean, I think not that we, you can obviously listen to it in any way you want, listener. Right. But I really like, even referencing back to what I said of as we went along, I think what made it feel so, dare I say, like ordained
Mhm.
is that all the pieces, instead of just, it didn't feel linear. What do I mean by that?
How do
You
I?
guys get it, right? It didn't feel like, oh, we came up with this idea and then we came up with this idea and these kind of songs. And I don't know. It
No.
just felt like every Zoom call we had, it was like more of the picture was getting filled in.
Mhm.
And so I just feel like, again, like I said, it's like I have hope that I will create good things in the future,
Yeah.
but this project just feels so complete in the sense, or rather, it just feels so all encompassing where I don't know, I feel so grateful that you and Christian Ostrom, who like kind of creative directed everything,
Yes.
were so, and Luke, who was our like video guy, like visual everything,
Mhm.
everything is stunning. But they were like, all three of you were so gracious to let me like, I'm like, hey, hate to sound like a broken record, but can we get this stained glass Jesus in here or what? You know,
Like every call, Dave's
every
like,
call.
so
Have we figured out what we're gonna do about that yet? You know,
yeah.
because it felt like the
Yeah.
more that the music took shape, the more that we realized like the story we were telling,
Yeah.
and obviously we wanted to support that visually too.
Mhm.
But then it just became more than that in the sense of, and I think there, you know, like in Luke when uh when Gabriel comes to Mary and you know she's like, yeah, like, okay, wow, oh my gosh, I'm having the Savior, whatever.
Right.
And it says, and Mary treasured these things in her heart or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like there are things that, like, listening to the album, be like, you won't be able to hear or, or see
Right.
every little thing. But there's so many things about this album that I treasure in my heart because I know that we were, like, faithful to tell, like, a story that
Mhm.
maybe, like, only bits and pieces will be seen by every individual, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just love how it really did start in this very room, which is so cool
Yeah.
to be back here.
Yeah.
And it started with, just one of your worship leaders here playing on the piano and all of us singing. And Stained Glass Jesus was in here.
Was in here.
And it's just one of those things that it's like no one put it in here for any like reason. It was just extra storage for like after some set design or
I
whatever.
like begged them to let me have it.
And then
yeah.
And then of course I get fixated on it. I'm like, no, we must have it in everything we
Guys,
do.
he wants to take it home.
I
and it's
literally
like
do.
100
The
pounds.
airlines won't let me. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like in a weird way, like this little stained glass fake stained glass thing, like represented like kind of a North Star for us, where we even referenced it in the music where it's like it's not actual stained glass, believe it or not. It's a modern take on stained glass. And like this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just like this type of imagery and like the symbolism that was used in the art of this time, where it's like, the circle around his head, it's halo, he's divine, and like even like all of the little things from his feet showing, like that's intentional, to the way that his hands are. I don't even know what all of these mean, but I just remember hearing about like, they would all like mean little things in like the Renaissance era art or whatever. Sure, the wings mean something, whatever. But it felt like this North Star of like, it's this modern take on such a big part of church history. And like anytime I felt like we were deviating from that, I was just like, but how do we make it more like stained glass Jesus, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know how to articulate that practically, but it's like, how do we make sure that, in each of our visual expressions, in each of our musical expressions, like we're not leaving him behind, for lack of a better word.
Right.
And he did find his place eventually in the backstage in the corner. And
he did.
And
he
perfect.
was like the center of what we were doing, physically and spiritually. He was our guide. And Gabby actually pointed this out to me, that day that you came and we started in worship, we started with Come Thou Fount.
Oh, wow, I didn't even realize that.
And we ended the record recording Come Thou Fount around Stained Glass Jesus.
On this piano.
With that piano. And one of my heroes, Dave Thomas, love you, David. he says, awakened leaders have an eye for the small.
Wow.
And I feel like you, David, have an eye for the small.
Mm-hmm.
And it requires you to see and ask the Lord where he's moving in every single detail.
Mm.
And it can easily be written off as superfluous or, whatever, coincident or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I so appreciate your intention. And this record is full of smalls, for lack of a better word. It's full of moments. It's full of history that's far exceeds our lifetimes, and it will exceed our lifetimes. And the second to last track on this record is All Creatures of Our God and King. And it was like St. Francis of Assisi in, I think it's like the 1200s, and then it resurfaced in like the 1800s where the melody was put to it, and then we captured it in 2025. And it does feel like the great cloud of witnesses, those that have gone before us, this thing. And guys, we were really hyping this, but like it did feel like we were a part of something that was bigger than us.
It did.
And so it's just been a privilege to work with you.
Likewise.
Yeah. And for those listening, check out Presence and Power. It's available everywhere. And catch you on the flippity flip.
Da 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 da. Outro music.
Yeah.
Great job.
Do you want to do an outro?
Yeah. Wait.
You just say something, just in case we want to do more. Let's run it back. What would you say as an exit? I got one.
I don't know. Okay. Thanks so much for listening. Question mark?
Let's kick this pig.
Let's kick this pig. Bow.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope these songs and their stories have stirred something meaningful in your heart, just as they've done for countless others through the years. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. It helps others discover these timeless hymns and the faith that they carry. Be sure to stream our album, Presence and Power, and until next time, may the presence of God surround you and the power of these hymns uplift your spirit. Keep singing and keep the story alive.